Hey everybody, it's Rob Nazarian with Talk Android, and we're looking at the Sony Xperia Ion. It's the first Sony device to make it over to the States, at least on contract. As you know, Sony Ericsson is no more, and Sony bought out their share, so it's all Sony from here on out. Now this is again for AT&T, and it is a pretty cool, sleek phone. One thing you got to say about Sony is they make definitely some very unique designs, and you know, to me they're kind of sexy in a way. They're very unique, and you know, I could also see how some people might be turned off by them, but I really like the quality of their phones. The only problem really is that they just don't make it here stateside too often. Now this one here is has an aluminum, textured aluminum back, which is very nice, which you don't see too much in phones. It's got a 12 megapixel camera on the back, and that's just a sticker right there that was on the lens. I just stuck it right on the body there. If I can get that off. And it's got an LED flash, and it's about 11.7 millimeters thick, so it's not the thinnest phone in the world. And the back, you can see, is kind of rounded, which is kind of weird to hold in a way, because most phones aren't like that. So, but it's not too bad. It's just a little weird. There's another look at it right there. The battery is 1900 milliamps and non-removable. In fact, the only entry point into the phone is right up here, which is it's a little tough getting it out. There it is, and that's for the micro SIM and the micro SD slot. So that's right up there. That's the only entry point into the phone, and I'll put that back. And on the side here you have the power and the volume and the headphone jack, and now the USB and micro HDMI is under this cover here, which these covers are kind of nice to supposedly keep dirt out of them, but to me they are a little annoying, especially when you're going to plug things in them. As far as, you know, everyday use without doing anything, they're nice, but I'm not a big fan of them. I never really had too much problem with getting dirt in any of my ports, but I'm sure there are people who have. So that's pretty much it. On there's a 1.3 megapixel on the front, and basically, if there's a negative on this phone, is that it's gingerbread. Here's a phone that just got released, and it comes with gingerbread. That's the big negative right there. It also has a pretty nice souped up processor at 1.5 gigahertz dual core, but the problem is this last year's processor. It's a Qualcomm S3, so that is also the other negative. But as far as performance goes, it's not too bad. I think where it's going to be a problem maybe is for battery life. So basically, let's take a look at gingerbread. Now, I know a lot of hardcore people are not going to really be a fan of having gingerbread on here, but I still think, you know, at $99, the people that are going to be looking to buy this phone aren't going to really care. It has a 720p screen with the Bravia mobile engine, and it's a pretty nice display. It's, you know, not as good as, say, the 1X, but it has some pretty decent viewing angles. The color does lose a little bit when you go to different viewing angles, but it is a very nice display. Now, as far we've seen a lot of the Sony interfaces here with gingerbread, so there's not a lot different here. They have what they call their timescape here, which you can add in your social networks, which I haven't done, but you could be able to flip through them right here, just like that. You have 5 home screens, and basically the launcher is somewhat gingerbread-like. It's basic launcher here. Now you can sort out things by alphabetical, most used, recently installed. And over here is a way to uninstall some apps. So basically you can click this, and then apps that are uninstallable will be right here, so you can kind of click on them. So let's say Office Suite, I can click on it and say uninstall application. Of course, that's one of the bloatware's apps that came with the device. And of course, there's a lot there. They're saying you can't uninstall, so that's nice, huh? Now these buttons here are a little weird because it's kind of like you see these little lines here. Sometimes I'm pressing the wrong area and it doesn't always go, but you get the hang of it. You got to hit a little high. I've been hitting them low, and then I'm like, come on. But basically, if you go like that at that level there, it does register. Now, this is their weather widget right here, and pretty much comes in at that size, but when you click on it, it opens up. Pretty nice looking, not bad. Of course, if you can go in the settings here, you can't set it by location, you can't set it by geolocation, so it's not going to change when you move around. You have to have it fixed, which kind of stinks, but that's pretty much the settings there. And if you do click on it again, you will get the AccuWeather website, I believe. Yep, there you go. So we'll just forget that right now. Of course, you have your yellow pages. This always shows up on AT&T devices. Now, where was that one widget? Oh, here it is. This is the picture and movies widget. Now, there's Three Stooges. That's a movie that I decided to rent through their Video Unlimited. We'll get to in a second. There's a couple of the widgets for power widgets for Wi-Fi and stuff that come along with Sony there. But over here you can go through your pictures, recent pictures and videos, and there's some pictures I took, and there's some pictures that the pictures they sent are really nice looking. You can go right into the gallery and look at it, and like I said, the display is really beautiful. Some of these pictures are really nice. I couldn't take a picture that good. Now the camera itself I'll get into, but the camera at 12 megapixel is pretty good, although in lower light I found it not to be so great. Here's a video that they have here to showing off the display. Of course, it's tough to tell on YouTube here, but this is really looks nice on this 720p display. And that's a video that they've included in the built in on the phone, pre-installed on the phone. So so that's their picture and media widget there. And let's see, a long press. Of course, this is gingerbread, so you can get to widgets through long pressing. Don't think there's anything major. Now there's a Timescape thing there where you can go, you can have your Timescape friends. Of course, there's no room there, where you can put your contacts, your favorite contacts in there. And then the Timescape widget that includes the Facebook and stuff that I showed you. And the weather widgets, there's just a couple of those. And then there's the smart tags as well, which I don't have. So this phone has NFC as well, which is nice. Now let's just take a look at the version. It's Android 2.3.7, so it's the highest version of Gingerbread at least. But that, like I said, is a huge negative. But at $99, I don't think anybody's gonna flip out over it. And as far as I'm concerned, now this is the Music Unlimited, and I don't know how that got on here. I was testing it out early by picking a station. There's this in My Music, which I don't really have any in here, and go into Music Unlimited. And it's not loading. Oops, we had it. Okay, so they have different channels. I haven't spent too much time with this, but I guess you can search for a band. Say search for, I don't know, Iron Maiden. And there's 26 albums. I can call them up. Now you have to join this service. And so there you go. So now I can go in and go ahead and play some songs. It's taking a little bit to load here. I'm on the Wi-Fi. But supposedly they have millions and millions of songs on here that you can sign up for. New users, I think get 30 days free. I forget the rate, but you can check our post. I'll put the rate in there on it, the monthly rate, and I don't know why it's not even loading here. I've got a good Wi-Fi connection and it's just not loading. Try a different song. Alright, well that is a fail. Earlier when I tested it on 4G, it came up just fine. So we'll forget that one right now. Either that or I will go in. I think they have like stations. Oops, get the album. I guess I might have selected rock there or something earlier when I was testing it. Let's see if something comes up here. Nothing. So we're going to forget that right now. And we will go into Video Unlimited, which I did rent a movie. And it downloaded it to the device. And I don't really care. I've never seen this movie. I don't know if it's any good, but just went ahead and did it. So there's Three Stooges. So it's playing it. Downloaded it to my device. It's an SD version of the movie, and I downloaded it. Took about 45 minutes to download on Wi-Fi. Of course, you can start viewing it at some point in it, but I didn't notice when that was. So the quality is good, but like I said, it's a straight download. It's not streaming right now. So go ahead and pause it, and I'm sure I can continue where I left off. Now there's an HD dock for this phone as well. You can hook it up to your TV, which I got the chance to see at CES, which is very nice. All in all, let me just show you the camera. Actually, one thing I'll show you about the camera is that, let's say the phone is off and you want to take a quick picture, you can actually just go ahead and press the shutter button. I think I forgot to mention that when I was going over the buttons on the side here. I always forget most phones don't have a shutter button. So I can go ahead and press the shutter button, and there it is. It just turned right on and took a picture. So that's pretty cool. Now here's the camera in itself, and that's the settings, but let's just go in here. So basically you go here, and these are the different scenes. You can go with normal. They have the panorama as well, the multi-angle, and basically leave it on auto. And then over here is where you can change the resolution, have the flash set to auto or not, geotagging, smile detection, and shutter sound. And there's the quick launch. you can say when you quick launch, you want it to launch and capture, or just launch only, which actually is actually better. And then for the capturing method, you can say the on-screen button or the camera key only, or touch capture. So basically, and then there's the timer. You're not going to find a lot of effects and all that good stuff like you see on the 1X and 1S. But let's just go ahead and bring it to the home screen here. Turn it off, and I'll go ahead and press the button. So basically, it didn't take a picture, which actually I like that much better. So then you can go ahead and take a picture. That's about 1.5 seconds, I think, is what they said. So that's a really nice feature. Goes right into the camera nice. When you take photos, it's not zero shutter. Let me just go back in again. If you take a picture, oops, I did take the picture. See, it takes a second for it to save it, and then you can go on to your next one. So it's about 1 second, 1.5 seconds, and of course you can go right into your photos just like any other phone, and I can go in and I'd have to hit the menu to delete them. You don't really get a delete option by tapping on the photo, so you got to hit the menu and then delete. And there's just a couple pictures I took of my son just while he was eating, and those were in a little lower light, which I'm not pleased with. That's a picture from outside in sunlight. That is as well, so pretty good, but I'll have more of that in my post as well, more pictures. So anyway, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I think it's a really nice phone for $99. I know a lot of people are bitching about the fact that it's gingerbread and it's got a Qualcomm S3, but I gotta tell you, I think a lot of people will be happy with it. I think, you know, the market is people that just aren't going to be worried about what version of Android they're running. The real question is, would Ice Cream Sandwich ever show up on this device, let alone Jelly Bean? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. We can only hope. But maybe Sony won't spend as much time or money on it. But I think it's a nice device. It's not for me. No question about that. Not for me, but I love the hardware. So, you know, take this hardware and, you know, and put Jelly Bean on it, and now you're talking. So, anyway, take a look at the full review that we're doing up, and you'll be able to see that. We'll link you to it. And thanks for watching. This is Rob Nazarian with Talk Android.